It's the SKOR North Twins Show.
All right, SKOR North Twins Show, live on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. Declan Goff here, live from Target Field. If you're looking for Twins news, latest rumors, the latest updates from the clubhouse, this is the channel for you. Hit the like button and subscribe button here. Appreciate everyone who has supported the SKOR North Twins Show here from last year into this year. We're over 5,000 subs, so thank you so much. Could be a really active and interesting next few weeks for the Twins. On one hand, they won 3 of their last 4 games against 2 really good teams in the Cubs and Rays. And on the other hand, there's a trade deadline that's approaching in about 3 weeks. So which direction are they going to go in? And we'll be here following all along. So hit that like button, subscribe button for the latest news, rumors, updates. Happy to provide it for you. Let's start with the latest that came around this morning with Joe Ryan, whose name came up on MLB Network today. This was from John Morosi, MLB insider, that the Red Sox are one of the teams that have been monitoring the Minnesota Twins right-hander Joe Ryan. And Morosi said they could be in a buy and sell posture from a focus on adding a long-term arm to their starting rotation. And that man that the Red Sox and a number of teams have been interested in is Joe Ryan. So Ryan has obviously had an excellent season. He's 8-4, 2.76 ERA, a whip of sub 1. It's 0.8 this year. ERA plus, which is kind of a league average scale, 100 being league average. Joe's at 152, which is by far a career high. His ERA plus his career is 112. He has struck out 116 batters in 104 innings. He's under team control for a few more seasons. Personally, this would fetch you a insane return. The Twins would never sell low on him, nor should they. And they'd have to be likely blown away. That's clear. I've got no indication that the Twins would be interested in selling Joe Ryan. Do I doubt that John Morosi and other insiders may be saying that teams are checking in on him? Absolutely, they're checking in on him. This team is in an awkward position where they don't really know which way they're going to go. They're still, even though they've won 3 of 4, there's still an uphill climb. Winning the Central is pretty much, I would say, impossible at this point. So now you're trying to get one of those 3 wild cards, which is certainly still in play. So I get why Joe Ryan's name comes up. I did a tier list a week ago on the SKOR North Twins Show. I had in my not interested in trading list, and I'm still firm into that. I would rather extend Joe Ryan than trade Joe Ryan. And even though a package from a team like the Red Sox would probably be overwhelming, or a team that would be interested in him and regardless would be overwhelming, I'm not interested in moving Joe Ryan, but that would fetch you the biggest return possible on this roster. There was a list of trade candidates. There's a lot of rentals that are on this team that I'm sure will draw interest, that are actually more likely to be traded than someone like Joe. So I think those ones are more likely. You know, does Griffin, Jax, or Duran, are those 2 dudes going to get you a big return? They will, because relievers always get, decent returns. Joe Ryan's return would blow that completely out of the water. And I just don't think the Twins are interested in doing that. Trade deadline's in 3 weeks. If this team goes in a tailspin, maybe that percentage chances go up. I would put the percentage chance of that happening, though, pretty low on that scale. But Joe Ryan's been obviously their best pitcher this season. He was a great acquisition from this front office for as much at times. I know we have criticized the front office for not making moves. The Nelson Cruz trade for Joe Ryan might go down as one of the best moves the organization has ever made. He's been phenomenal for them. And I know at times he's battled some injuries. Last year, he had a season cut short because of the teres in 2023. Had a great first 3 months, then had a hamstring issue that kind of spun his season out of control. But still, one of the better pitchers that people probably don't talk about enough in the game. And I don't get the sense the Twins would be interested in trading someone like that. You're getting like a number 1, if not a number 2 prospect, plus other things all around them. So an interesting report from John Morosi. We'll continue to monitor it. But I personally don't see it happening. On Joe Ryan, though, by the way, so the Pirates are coming to town this weekend. Paul Skeens versus Joe Ryan was originally scheduled for Saturday. That has now been bumped up to Friday. So that is now a Friday game. I know the forecast might look a little iffy right now, to be honest. I think the game is safe, but there's a post-game concert of Nelly. That might be a little bit in jeopardy, judging by the forecast, but we're about 48 hours from that, so it's kind of hard to project. However, If you had tickets or if you were looking forward to coming to that epic pitching matchup between Paul Skeens and Joe Ryan, that is now on Friday. It is not on Saturday. Skeens is obviously probably the best pitcher in the game, having another absurd season, already a 1.94 ERA. He's made 19 starts, and he's allowed 25 earned runs. Probably the most dominant pitcher there is. Very excited to watch this matchup, but just wanted to let any of the fans know who are in town or maybe coming to the game, looking forward to that game. It's not on Saturday anymore. It's on Friday now. So plan accordingly. And then hopefully it stays dry for some Nelly. Who doesn't love some Nelly? And Gen Zers and younger generation, if you are a baseball fan, look up some Nelly if you're not aware, because that's going to be absolutely awesome. So some other trade candidates here. The Athletic posted a big board, the top 40 players on the market as the deadline, which is July 31st, by the way, approaches. Joe Ryan's name's not on here. I believe this was posted this morning, and that was a report from John Morosi. This is the Athletics. However you want to get your trade candidates and rumors is up to you. But let's go to the Athletics here. So number 8 and number 9 on the trade deadline big board are Duran and Jax. So obviously Duran is having a great year. By the way, he was sick yesterday. I know that game wasn't going to be a safe situation because the Twins busted open the 8th. He wasn't available yesterday because he was sick. Sounds like he is good to go on Wednesday night. And then for the rest of the series, he had a big, nasty flu bug. Now is at least decent enough to pitch. I don't know how in great strength he is in, but good enough to go for the rest of the series. The deal likelihood is a color yellow. There's an urgency index on this, and it looks like the urgency index is yellow. I don't really know where the colors scheme goes from that, but it's a yellow for Duran and it's a yellow for Griffin Jax. Teams that are listed that are interested in Duran on the Athletic are the Tigers. I can tell you right now, Twins will not trade him in the division. The Yankees, which I could see happening, and the Phillies, which I can see happening. Both those organizations were in town at Target Field over the weekend. Scouts, I should say, from the Phillies and Yankees were here at Target Field watching the Twins. So makes sense. Both of them could use bullpen help. So Duran is listed as a fit for those teams. Jax also in the yellow category. Fits for Griffin Jax are the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, the Mets. Those are interleague teams. I think the Twins would prefer not to deal him in the AL, but I don't think they'd hang up the phone if Brian Cashman or a team in the AL West like the Astros or Seattle dealing in the division seems incredibly unlikely to me. Even when the Twins were looking for deadline help last year, they had interest in Michael Kopech, and the White Sox asked for Luke Keyshaw in return, which would have been insane. And Kopech, I think, actually just got activated off the IL. He's a flamethrower. He's a really good reliever. But the fact the White Sox were asking for the third best prospects for a guy that's a reliever. So that just goes to show how division tax can play in a factor. So I don't think Griffin Jax or Duran get developed in the division, but certainly they're near the top of the big board. They're both in the top 10. So that's interesting. A couple other names on this list. Harrison Bader, he's number 29, and the deal likelihood from them is green. So it must be likely, right? Fits for Harrison Bader include the Guardians, we just talked about in the division, Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. And their analysis here is the trade market could be thin on outfielders, especially the right-handed hitting outfielders, and Bader helps fill that void. He remains a very strong defender, and he has a little bit of pop. He's a rental. He is a great dude and very beloved in the clubhouse. If they continue to play well, I'd be pretty surprised they traded him. But if they are out of it, or if that price gets driven up, because right now, like if you were trading today, I would bet a team would only give up like a 15th to 20th ranked prospect. Maybe I'm even overvaluing that. Now, if you create a bidding war and you really want him, can you get like a top 10 for him? And is that enough to say yes to a deal? You have to consider it. So we'll see where it goes. I talked to a Twins player yesterday asking him what do they want to see him do at the deadline. They told me, I want to see this team do nothing at the deadline. I don't want to see them buy. If I don't want to see them, certainly don't want to see them sell. They really like the group that's in there, and they'd rather them hold it together. Guys are getting healthier. They've strung together some wins here. That might not be the reality the front office takes, or even might not even be the logical move they should take in general. But that Twins player told me he'd rather just stand pat and run this thing instead of adding something to it. They feel pretty good about the team. Pablo coming back in September. We'll see what happens there. But Bader is someone to definitely watch on this on the trade deadline as it approaches in a few weeks. Chris Paddock, number 33 on this. Deal likelihood is green. Fits include the Braves, the Astros, St. Louis. Houston would be interesting there. Paddock's from Texas. Houston could use some starting pitching depth. Is Chris Paddock a needle mover for them? No, but you need arms to get you to the finish line. You need arms that are just going to give you a better chance to win games. He still might be someone. He was in the bullpen when the Twins won their playoff games here in 2023. Does he eventually transition there? I kind of like the idea of him being in the bullpen at some point. Right now, the Twins need starters so bad that he is a starter, but I actually don't mind the idea of him maybe being in the bullpen. So those are some of the names. Danny Coulomb, that's another one, lefty reliever who's having a great year. Teams, again, always need bullpen help, but how the Twins handle the deadline is still kind of up in the air. I know fans are probably looking at him and saying sell right now or sell in general. And actually, I lean that way as well. Like, I don't think that this team is going to be a contender. Can be proven wrong. They've won some nice games here. It's a long baseball season. The Tigers went on an absurd run at this time last year after they traded Jack Flaherty, so it's not impossible per se, but I think it's more likely the team either does nothing or sells. They certainly will not buy, but a lot of things. In fact, shameless self-plug, Doogie will join us tomorrow on the SKOR North Twins Show. I think we'll actually have like a boatload of episodes. I'll have an episode from just some things I have gleaned from the clubhouse over the last few days that I'm excited to kind of talk about with Mackie and Judd on a full show. I've kind of been saving some of those notes and nuggets for a full show. Doogie sat down with Derek Falvey earlier this week for a TV hit, but also just to get some intel and information. So we're actually going to have a twin show tomorrow with Doogie. So if you have not subscribed to this channel already and you want maybe some extra information from Dukes, this is it. Hit the like button, subscribe button, so you can be alerted with that. So that should be really fun, and we'll have maybe a series recap. It's a lot of twin shows in one day, but that's what I'm here for, right? So we'll see what happens there. A few other things here though from Target Field: Twins and Cubbies game 2 on Wednesday, and then again Pirates Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Roster move: Anthony Misevich, I believe is how I pronounce it. Misevich, the Miz is what Rock referred to as, not as the wrestler The Miz. For my WWE fans out there, that is not the same Miz. But Misevich was added to the 40-man and active roster. They DFA'd Joey Wentz yesterday. Misevich was putting up pretty good numbers with the St. Paul Saints this season. Appeared in 26 games, was kind of their closer. He had 8 saves, 4 ERA, struck out 29 guys, whipped near 1. Doesn't get hit a lot, which is interesting. I will say, he's 30 years old. And in fact, he has some tread on his tires in the big leagues. He's bounced around a lot. He's appeared in 131 games since debuting with Seattle in 2020, exclusively as a reliever. Some strikeout stuff. His FIP, his field independent pitching, which is a stat that kind of measures a pitcher's effectiveness at preventing home runs, walks, hit by pitches, but causing strikeouts. Basically, the things that the pitcher can control. His FIP is almost a full run lower than his ERA, which would suggest he has been a victim of either bad luck, some bad fielding, and he has put himself in a better position to have a better result than maybe what the standard ERA stands for. I know that's a big one. Some people don't like the new statistics, and FIP isn't honestly a new statistic by any means, but he has looked like he's been a little bit better. He's a low man on the pecking order right now in the bullpen. Joey Wentz, #thank you for your service, got rocked around a little bit. He pitched with the big league yesterday, and now is DFA'd. We'll see if he accepts his assignment and or is maybe claimed on waivers, but another arm is up here for the Twins in the bullpen. Mentioned that Duran was sick on Tuesday. He's now back. He's healthy. He's fine. So that's all good news. What else here on the SKOR North Twins Show can I hit you guys with? Few questions here on YouTube. Let's go to Brian who says, all I want is a new owner, and it's been that way for years. Yeah, I know Twins fans are ready for a different ownership. I know Charlie Walters had the thing in his recent report that there's an offer on the table. I don't know if that's actually the case. Just speaking on background to some people, I don't think that that's true or that's close. But it's kind of a difficult thing to get info on. We just have to go off what other national people and what the search firm can provide. I know fans are sick of that, but yeah, I know fans are also ready for new owners. Alex says here, vibes around the team. This is where there can be a conundrum at times because winning cures all. Just 3 of the last 4 games. I wasn't here for the Tampa series, but just yesterday and today even, it doesn't feel like a team that was only winning 9 out of 9 out of 27 games like they did in the month of June. It feels like a team that they feel pretty good about themselves. And again, winning helps that. But the vibes, I think they feel pretty good. Long term, and maybe putting all the vibes together, and this is where tomorrow's Twin Show, I'm excited. The second one, not the one with Doogie, but the one I'll do with Mackie and Judd. Just some observations I've learned probably tie into the vibes. Maybe that's a good tease. I get conflicting things sometimes, just of how I view this team, maybe how others view it. But it is a long season, so you certainly don't want to punt on it. But that is interesting. Good vibe check there. I know it's something we do on the State of the Twins. I'll have more on that, though, on a future episode of the SKOR North Twins Show. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Live from Target Field here. Twins and Cubbies for Game 2. Again, if you're consuming this in the back end, maybe the live edition, but that Paul Skeens, Joe Ryan matchup is now on a Friday for Game 1 of the series. Hopefully the weather stays good, man. I mean, they had 30,000 fans here yesterday. It was just the second game this season after opening day where there's been at least 30,000. So Cubby fans were here and packed and loud. I mean, it felt like a Cubs home game. I'll be completely honest. Felt like a Cubs home game here today. I bet that's going to be the case again today and probably also for the day game on Thursday. So, yeah, it should be fun. Should be exciting. We have plenty of Twins content coming at you. Also, another note, I know I've mentioned this. I teased this before. Unfortunately, we will not be doing a trade deadline special at Northern Soda. Just some conflicts came up, so we won't be doing that. Instead, I'll have breaking anything that happens on that trade deadline. I'll be right here on the YouTube channel regardless to react to that. So no trade deadline special at Northern Soda. However, we'll still be ready to cover it and react to it. However the news comes to us. So if you were looking forward to that, I apologize, but that's all right. Northern Soda is still great. Just we couldn't figure out logistics to do recording there. Go get your Northern Soda, though. It's a great product. They got a tap room. They're in all stores to stores. I've been sipping on it all week, so should be still a really good soda, and it should also be on the top of your fridge. But I think that'll do it for me here at Target Field. Is there anything else? I feel like I'm missing something. Got notes written down. Usually pretty good at writing things down. You like writing things down, right? I think that might be it, though. Oh, obviously Byron Buxton. I saw it, actually. That's what it is. Byron Buxton, Tommy Watkins will be the partners in the home run derby. So Tommy's going to throw to Buck. Means a lot to Buxton. Tommy used to throw to Buxton when he was in low A, high A. So they've had a relationship taking BP together for a long time. Tommy was very honored and honestly moved by the gesture. I was walking in the ballpark today, saw both them doing BP together. Correa was watching, Royce was watching, even hitting coach Matt Borgschulte was kind of observing as well. So it'll be Tommy Watkins throwing to Byron Buxton in his home state of Georgia. I think it's going to be an awesome event. I know the All-Star game and festivities, some of it's kind of lost, a little bit of its luster. I think baseball still has the best one. And it's cool that Buck's in it. It's the first time a Twins player has been in it for 8 years. So that's pretty unique. Yeah, but tomorrow, packed show. Can't wait. Doogie on the latest trade deadline news and rumors that I've kind of done a little bit here today, but he'll have some more intel. My latest clubhouse notes and potentially a recap series here against the Cubs too. So if you need Twins content, look right here, man. This is it for you. So appreciate you guys on the audio side, a 5-star rating, and appreciate everyone that does hit the subscribe button here on this video. This is the SKOR North Twins Show. My name's Declan Goff. Be talking at you guys soon.